And also, something that doesn't come up a lot often is about grief and grieving during the holidays, because we know there's always people that are missing from our lives during these holidays and special days for us. And it's hard. And we want to talk about that topic in general and just how spirit can sort of help us get through this. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Of course, we're going to be ending the show like we always do with readings on people or pets. If you would like me to do a pet reading, feel free to. You can drop a picture on my Facebook page, or I don't know if you can do it in the chat here, or you can even just show me a picture through the Zoom. That's fine also. Feel free to share, whatever device you're on. That would be great. Love to see more people, either in the Zoom room or Facebook. It's also on YouTube. But welcome. And brief intro about me. Again, I'm Medium Mari. I am a psychic medium and animal communicator. I also help to use my connection with spirit to find lost animals, and I love doing the work that I do. I really do. I'm here to help people and to help people heal in whatever way that I can help them with that. And, I'm just grateful to be able to share my gift with others and to pass along the knowledge and the certainty that there is definitely life after we leave this planet. This is just sort of like one of our stopovers. And we will be reunited with our loved ones and pets when we cross over. So that's a little bit about me. I'll pass it over to my beautiful co-host Winter Brook, and she can tell you about what she does.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I see some new faces and I see some old faces. And it's always nice to meet new folks and see our true trusted friends as well. Um, so, Amari and I had talked about using gratitude as a topic. And I suggested that we also incorporate using, I made a list that uses gratitude as well, but also tips when you're grieving, especially during the holidays. I think it makes it worse because everyone, it's supposed to be a joyous time of the year. And yet, if you have a deep loss, which I'm presently going through, it can kind of dampen things. You'll see my little foster kittens. I help rescues out in foster kittens. So they're running around today. There you go, sweetheart. Okay. So what happened in my situation is a dear friend of mine for 25 years. She was like a grandmother to my kids. She was like a second mom to me because my mom's passed so many years now. She passed away and I was her healthcare agent, so that made it tougher. As a medium, and I'm sure Mari will also feel the similar way, death for us, we still experience the loss and the grieving because, we're humans, but it's a slightly different feeling than what I had before my abilities reopened. When I had a bad pass, a close death, one of the things I was always questioning is, does this person cease to exist? Will I ever see or be in their company again? I didn't know. Now, my mediumship opened up 15 years ago, right, when I was practicing law. And it ended the question as to whether the person ceased to be, because then I learned and I knew that they continued to exist, albeit in a different reality. I'm still grieving and missing their physical presence. The woman that passed away last month, I actually had to make those decisions. I was her healthcare agent. Um, I would call her every morning and have coffee over the phone. I took her to all her doctor appointments. I was like a daughter to her. She was like a mom to me. Then, roughly 2.5 weeks later, I had to put my dog down. So 1-2 punch. And everybody kind of knows my big fluffy white dog Magic. And so it really, it's kind of like a huge change. I don't have Helen, and I'm missing Magic. Do I see Magic in my clairvoyance? Absolutely. But when I walk in the house after going to the office, he's not there to greet me. It's just not the same as having him here. So we do grieve because I did have a client, she just didn't understand when I mentioned my dog had passed. She's like, well, at least you can still connect with him. I'm like, yeah, but I'm still, you know, still
You're still
grieving.
sad. Yeah, you're still sad. So even though we're able to connect with, our loved ones and pets on the other side, it's not the same, as everyone here knows. And you're still sad, and that makes perfect sense because you're, like you said, we're not entirely spiritual beings. We're also human beings. So
Right.
it's
And,
important to take time for that.
and unless we're sociopaths, we are going to grieve when we lose
Yeah.
something we love. So I thought, since I've been going through it, because I did consult spirit. Well, I'll tell you, when Helen passed, it was the day I was going to transfer her to the hospice house. And I had to go sign the papers. And they said, well, don't bother going to the hospital. She'll be here in an hour. Why don't you just wait here? And I said, all right, I'll go home and then I'll come back. And she had family friends with her visiting. Well, they left. The ambulance was supposed to show up and transport her, and she died. So the first thing is, I kind of got
Mm.
angry at her the first day, because I was like, why did you die then? Why didn't you wait until I could get there? And her response to me was, I didn't need you there then. So, but it's a kind of a silly thing, but anger is a part of the process. So, I wanted to be there, hold her hand while she transitioned, but she was very independent. That's how she got to 92. And
Mm.
that's what she chose to do. So, but anyway, though they are well when they're on the other side, they are still seeing us. We have the difficulty in receiving their communications because of our human form. We, as humans, typically leave our bodies at night when we're sleeping, and we are spending time with our loved ones on the other side. So they are in no way separated from us. We feel the separation because we are incarnated presently as human beings. So there's that. So we have to learn how to deal with this. And, grieving is a healthy response to losing. So going along with gratitude, I try to identify in my mind 3 to 5 things I am grateful for. And when I focus on what I'm grateful for, it does ease the sharp pain of loss. So, I'm grateful that my children are physically well. I'm grateful that I have a home, seeing everything that's going on, like in Gaza and the Ukraine. Um, and that's, sometimes you get so deep with the grief if you're unable to see anything positive in your life. And I've had, clients come to mediums, right, Mari? Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
we're used as like an alternative form of therapy.
Yeah.
Um, Not that you have a counseling degree. I just have a legal degree.
Yeah.
This is one of the babies who's got a pending app. So what I try to get them to do is, well, look around the world and see people that would love to be in your situation. You think it's so bad, but what about those poor people in Gaza? At least we're not being bombarded by bombs and losing loved ones. And if you can't find anything directly to be grateful for, look around your world and see what other people are living day to day. And you're really not that bad off in most cases. Um, Also, what Mari was suggesting is call in to your angels and guides. Now, it does help if you're sensitive, if you're open to the energy. And here's the little girl. They are just having a grand old
Yeah,
time.
I would love to talk about that, Winter,
Go
about
ahead.
talking
I'll let
about
you.
your angels and guides, because like I know Winter was talking a lot about the grief part of it, and it's sort of two different sides of the same coin. The grief and the gratitude are almost like, one and the same in some instances. But like Winter was just mentioning about calling in our guides or our angels. And again, not everybody is like super woo woo and tuned in like we are. And I totally get that. But even from the simplest thing, you can look at it both ways. If you're grieving, or if you're like, oh, it's Thanksgiving, like, oh, I don't like my Uncle Fred and so annoying. I've got to bring the turkey. And why doesn't my sister-in-law cook? And, you're in that kind of place of, like we all get there complaining or whatever. The gratitude piece about that is also you can ask your angels, guides, loved ones, pets, anybody, whether you really believe in it or not, because it works whether you believe in it or not, and ask them for a sign. Say, look, okay, I know I'm mad about this list of 25 things, but help me out here, Aunt Ruthie, or my dog Fluffy, or whatever. Can you show me something? Can you show me something, like a sign? And you can either suggest what the sign is. If you had a thing for four-leaf clovers or something, you could put that out there. Or you could just say, just show me something that I'm going to recognize to let me know that you're there and that you're surrounding me. Because that's the other piece about the grief gratitude coin flip there, is that we're never alone. Like Winter said, we're not. I know it feels like it. Believe, I know myself. Even though I'm connecting with spirit, all day, every day, sometimes as humans, it can feel so lonely here because of all the sadness and all the grief and just all like hard things that are happening in our lives. But we need to know that spiritually, energetically, that we're not alone, that we have our angel guides around us, our pets that have passed, or our loved ones. And I know it might sound kind of cheesy, but they are really around us. And a lot of times it just takes us asking to say, hey, I may not believe in you, but I could really use a sign. I could really use something to lift me up, or to show me what I can be grateful for in my life. Because right now I'm feeling like, this, and this is really bad. And I'm having a hard time finding the gratitude. And so, sort of tossing it out to the spirit world and saying, what can you do to help me? A lot of times that's really helpful. And again, it might be a tiny thing. It might be, you might see a rainbow, or you might walk into a store because you're frantically shopping, and then you hear this song playing in the store that you haven't heard since you used to make cookies with your mom or something, and you're like, oh wow. People say, that's so weird, they played the song. It's like, no, it's spirit coming through to say, hey, I'm here, I'm with you. That's like their energetic hug to let you know that you're not alone. So I just wanted to add, Winter, that it's really important to not only look for those signs, but to ask for those signs, because that will help you whether you're grieving because the holidays are extra hard with a certain situation, or whether you're just, we're struggling. And I know obviously there's wars and there's all sorts of horrible things, but sometimes it's hard to really put ourselves in that situation. And so sometimes we need like a little extra help saying, yeah, I'm here, I'm around, I'm here for you. And that helps. At least that helps me, and I know it helps a lot of my clients sort of get through those difficult times. And it helps you have some gratitude for what's going on in your own life.
Absolutely. And, a part of it is when you're feeling low, which can be brought on by grief or just overall depression. And again, depression heightens during holiday season because
Hmm.
there's a big emphasis on people, being joyful, etc. And one year you are, but maybe you've gone through difficulties. It makes it a little bit more difficult. So if you can lift your vibration, lift your attitude through using the gratitude steps, find three things to be grateful for. Or if you really can't find anything in your own life, look around and say, well, it could be worse. That's a step, it gets you a little bit higher. Then ask your angels, because at one point last week, I just had them, they just kind of enfolded around me. It was the most amazing experience, whether you want to call it my spirit team, my loved ones, my angels. And they said, all you need to do is ask. I kind of forgot, I'm just
Yeah.
moving straight ahead with life. And trying to balance all the balls. Um, Another thing that helps is, and I see this repeatedly with my clients, doing acts of kindness for others, even when you're feeling blue. Okay. Um, it may not be every day. You may need to also include yourself on this too. Do some acts of kindness for yourself when you're going through a difficult, challenging time. And it doesn't have to be money. It could just be holding the door open for somebody, smiling at somebody, lift their spirits. If you can, I know I was just giddy with excitement. I'm starting to finally feel my old self again. I do the Secret Santa. There's a lady in the neighborhood that gets the names of children from the local schools whose family needs help for the holidays from the guidance counselors. And we all kind of don't, we get a kid and then we get the shot for them. So, but not everybody might be able to budgetarily do that, but that's something you could do, or you make a little donation. All the stores now are like, do you want to ring it up? Instead of 39 cents, you want to bring it up and donate 61 cents. So you could do something like that and then pat yourself on the back. Again, it's all about lifting your emotions because you're going to go through the process as it is, but at least it won't be as daunting. Um, I'll just say one more and then I'll hand it back to Mari. I find for myself, I plan something to look forward to so that when I start getting blue or down, I can shift my focus to something that I'm looking forward to, whether, it's going to the opening of a movie or a trip or, um, something a couple months in advance to kind of help you through the difficult times. Again, because when you start dwelling in the pain, you want to shift your focus to something more positive, just to kind of help you float instead of sink. Does that make any sense, guys?
Yeah, no, 100%, absolutely. And I was going to say like a similar thing. You were talking about self-care. And I know we were talking about how spirit can help us, but I feel a lot of times, if you're intuitive at all, I think if you're watching or listening to us, you must have, those type of feelings or at least some, wondering about it. Sort of listen to those little nudges you get. Like sometimes, and I'm not really a big TV person, I just don't watch a lot of TV, but sometimes it's just good to maybe veg out in front of the TV, watch like something silly, instead of watching CNN or the news 24 hours a day, which is super depressing and really triggering, honestly. If you're intaking a lot of that news, it can be really sort of traumatizing. Watch Friends or watch a Seinfeld. I don't know. Watch something that's just going to make you laugh because that is also self-care. And normally, my other self would have been like, oh, why am I going to watch such a stupid show? But it's not so much that, you have to be learning something all the time. It's just being able to put aside the grief or let yourself be in a place where you can feel happy. And that can be the gratitude. The gratitude is like, wow, like, I get to laugh for an hour. Like, yes, I have this huge list of problems that I'm dealing with, and I still have to deal with them when I get back from the hour that you're watching the show, but at least you give yourself that respite. And often I find when I'm getting overwhelmed with life and just everything that's going on, I get that kind of little nudge from spirit, like, all right, you need to pull back. And our angels and our loved ones will very much do that. Like, say you're rushing around crazy, trying to bake Christmas cookies, or I don't know, anything. And, maybe you get a slight burn on your finger and you're like, oh, like, gosh darn it. Like, I can't believe that happened. Now I'm even later and it's terrible. And like, but kind of let's roll that tape back here. Sometimes spirit will put things in your way so that you will slow down. And in the slowing down, you find the gratitude. So, no, I'm not saying, yay, you burnt your finger, But sometimes when these things happen, like at least my normal immediate reaction is like, oh, I can't believe that happened. It's so frustrating. But then when I sit with it, I was like, oh, okay. So now I had to ice my finger, and now I had to maybe, sit with my family for a little bit instead of like hang out, as opposed to rushing from one thing to the next and being more and more frustrated that you haven't been able to get everything done, and traffic, etc. So just kind of be aware when spirit is trying to insert themselves into your life, whether maybe there is a lot of traffic and it's so frustrating. You're like, forget it. I'm just going to go pull into Dunkin' Donuts and have a coffee for 15 minutes. It's like, oh, well, maybe that was put in my path on purpose so that I can sit here, have that breath, and sort of relax and just be in the moment, because it's so easy to get out of the moment. And it is hard to be full of gratitude, like, oh, I'm with my family, and be full of that gratitude if you're rushing and running and everything's so expensive now. It's like, it just feels like a ton of stress, as opposed to, I'm in the moment, I'm being with family. So just think about those things that happen to you throughout the day or week. And instead of thinking of them as, oh, this is this terrible thing that happened that just made my day that much worse, think of, well, maybe this was put in my path for a reason, for me to slow down, for me to have the coffee, for me to run into the friend that I ran into that I haven't seen in 40 years. So to me, none of that is accidental. It's all for a reason. So these things are all happening for a reason, for your highest good. So take a moment and think about that when you're thinking about gratitude, and when you're thinking about, well, how can I be more present in the moment and what really matters to me? Because I feel like so much of us, including myself, when I'm in my day-to-day life, we're just in our head, we're just going and doing and paying the bills and rushing and cooking, and we're not in the, okay, what do I need to do to take care of myself? How do I need to frame my life so that what I have in my life matters to me? And therein lies the gratitude. So I hope that little spiel made sense. If anybody has any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat, or if you're in the Zoom room, if you want to ask a question, that's great too. Or if you're on Facebook or YouTube, you can put it in the chat there as well and let us know. But yeah, I know it's a difficult time of year, and especially during all these difficult things the world is going through, the energy is chaotic. I mean, if you haven't noticed, it's not just, obviously the wars and all the horrible things that are happening, but even whatever town you're in, the energy just feels very, "Ugh." And that, especially if you're sensitive, can take a toll on you. So you're not imagining it. You're not like, oh, wow, I don't understand. It's because that energy can be very traumatizing and triggering. And so, especially during this time of year, like Winter was talking about, we need to take care of ourselves. And if you're grieving, even more so, because then it's like more of your emotional and psychological defenses are down, and you're just more vulnerable to getting sick, to becoming depressed, whatever. So, taking that time for the coffee, or taking that time for a 10-minute walk outside, even if you sit on your porch and just breathe the fresh air, anything will help bring you back to the gratitude and bring you back to being connected to yourself. And that's how you're connected with all your spirit guides and loved ones.
Absolutely. And then the last thing I'll say, and then we should probably open up for a couple of readings, is
Yeah.
that one of the best things you can do every day or throughout the week a couple times is sit for meditation, whether you start with 10 minutes a couple times a week, or if you can't do meditation, try sitting for prayer. Although prayer is not the same as meditation, prayer is generally requesting comfort, etc., from God, whereas meditation is more of sitting in the power and receiving. And that could be from your God or from your loved ones or your higher self, spirit. So, because as Mari started in the beginning of the show, looking to our higher self or our God source, or, you know, teachers and guides in spirit, they will assist us but we have to be able to hear them. And to do that, you have to quiet your mind, you have to raise your vibration. And that doesn't necessarily happen if you're really low, or, whether you're grieving, you're angry, depressed, it's harder to make that connection. Okay, so the steps we described before, the active steps you can take, find something to be grateful for. That's helping to pull you up a little bit from the heaviness of the situations that are going on in your life in the moment, just to kind of connect you back to your higher self, your God source, and then receive some assistance. All right.
Absolutely. Yeah, no,
So,
100%. And it might
and
sound a little out there, but that is really, a really good path and really good source to sort of get you out of the day-to-day frustration, anger, depression, whatever human foibles that we have to deal with, and just bring it back to spirit, to yourself, and then be able to connect with those signs. Because think about it, if you're in this crazy running around, you got to buy the turkey and crazy running around space, it's going to be a lot harder for you to see signs from your loved ones or from your pets, because you're just going to miss them, because they're
right.
always around us. But if you're like in this, okay, I gotta go, 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 and I know so many people like that, it's going to be so much harder to see those signs. But if you're able to pull it back just a little bit, just try 25%, it's going to be a lot easier to see those things and to be connected to that. And once you're connected to that sort of spiritual network, it just makes life a lot easier. I know myself, when I start to get bent out of shape about something and getting sort of crazy, like running around buying presents. That's so much fun, isn't it?
Oh, that was
Bringing
me
myself.
last night.
Yeah, it's
I
so
got my kid.
yeah, it's just so like crazy. That's our human, right? So we got to sort of roll our human back a little bit and get back into our center, our heart space, our soul, and connect with your, higher source, greater power, God, whatever you want to call it. And that's going to bring us a little bit of peace and the gratitude. So, yeah, absolutely. I think what you said, winter is beautiful. And it's an important message, all year, but especially this time
Around
of
the
year.
holidays. And on
It's
that, and
harder.
then we promise we're going to readings. In the event, you guys, anybody out there is struggling and they're not, you don't have to do it yourself. You have community of others. Talk with your friends.
Yeah.
Sometimes just a conversation with a good friend, and you might need about 15 of them if you're going through a difficult time. There's support groups out there, whether you've lost a loved one, a spouse, kids, a pet. Some people grieve as deeply for the loss of a pet as other people grieve for loss of humans.
Yeah.
So they do have groups, and sometimes, that might help. And then, of course, I have a couple of therapists that I refer clients to that, could benefit from a little bit more intensive work through depression or grief. And again, these are things that can get heightened during the holidays. We do want to be joyous. We do want to be happy. But that there is that empty seat at the table, or in my case, I said, that's it. We're not doing Christmas this year. And that's what's going to work for us. We'll go away for Christmas, just because every year I'd have Helen. So rather than sit in the freshness of it and see the empty seat, I know she'll be on
Yeah.
the cruise with us. So I mean, she just doesn't stop talking.
Yeah, exactly.
We
She'll
love her to
she'll
death.
be she'll be having a great time on the cruise. So, but yeah, but exactly right there. That's a wonderful coping skill. Like, you don't have to force yourself to be happy. You don't have to be like, oh, everybody's happy, so I'm going to put on this fake face, but I'm miserable on the inside. So, like, try to attend to that. Try to attend to that and do what's going to make you happy. If you're going to be happier, eating popcorn and watching a football game or whatever, then do that, because it's like life is too short. It really is. So we hope that all these little tips were helpful for you this month. And I don't know if anybody has any questions, but I know people are probably eager to get to the readings, because I know that's how it is. That is every time we do the show, or any shows we do. So does anybody have any questions about that, or are we people wanting to jump into the reading?
And absolutely, I just want to reiterate a lovely comment by Janice that It is so important that we meet ourselves and others with compassion this time of year. That's beautiful.
Yes.
Definitely.
Bravo. A hundred
Because
percent. Absolutely.
yeah, and I exploded because I was holding it all in with one of the
Hmm.
Chamber of Commerce colleagues of mine. And he's like, I've never heard you yell in the 10 years I've known you. I said, well, I'm grieving and I think I just popped my kettle. So I felt bad, but he was compassionate. And he's like, yeah, you didn't sound like you. So it does happen. People might have outbursts and you don't know what's going on in their lives. So
It's true. Absolutely. You never quite know what's going on with anybody. And many times the people that put on the happiest faces are really the saddest on the inside. So just sort of be aware, and that includes yourself. Treat yourself with compassion. It's important. And don't try to feel like you have to do everything for everybody all the time, because that is just going to make you really unhappy. So well, I guess if everybody doesn't have any questions, or if you have questions later, you know where to find us. You can always reach out to us. We can do some reading. So I don't know if
I
anybody in
have,
the
well, let's see if anybody in the Zoom room would like a reading because you guys came in with us. Okay, Sharon, um, uh, do you want to do this one or do you want me to do it, sweetheart?
you can do this one because I actually just got a picture. Leslie sent me a picture of her doggy, so I can do that one after.
Sharon, if you could just unmute yourself, and then I do see a couple people in my Facebook, so don't worry, we'll get to them for as
Yeah, I
well.
was checking that too.
Um, okay, so Sharon, I want to thank you for asking, and can I just hear your voice, darling?
Sure. Hi, this is
Oh,
Sharon.
that's lovely. Okay. So I work off of the energy of the voice sometimes, and that helps me with the connection. And right away, I thought I was going to get a mother, but actually got dad. Would you understand a father in spirit?
Yes,
And would you understand that he was of average height? I want to say about 5'9", give or take an inch.
yes,
And I do feel he was a nice dresser. Like he would wear a shirt and a pair of trousers versus blue jeans and t-shirts.
that's
He
true.
would, all right, even like to go to the store. He dressed nice. And I think he was a white collar worker, like he worked in an office or a bank or something like that, respect, as
You did.
opposed to a plumber or a carpenter. Um, and he comes and he's so proud of you. He's just gloated. I mean, his smile is stretching from one end of the room to the next, and he wants to brag to everybody how proud he is of his daughter. Would you remember dad, um, expressing a lot of attributes like that?
He was a little more reserved.
Okay. So the reason I ask, because sometimes they come in, it's evidential. Other times it's because they realize they should have acknowledged your skills and your talents and your good deeds more so. They should have said, I love you more vocally than they did when they were here. And that's the feeling I'm getting now. But he's just want you to, he's just glowing with pride. And I do feel that you have recently, in the last 3 to 6 months, achieved a success that's in your career.
Um, I'm in a transitional spot there.
Okay. So, but I feel like you took a step higher. So maybe like leaving a position that wasn't suited and you're taking a risk going into something new.
That seems accurate. Yeah.
So dad's really proud of the fact that you did that. So I'm going to take that as an indicator that it's going to be successful.
Okay.
I feel like February, so I don't know if you're looking for a new position or something new with. I feel like you work at different places, like a subcontractor.
I actually own a school.
You own a school. Okay. So then maybe you're moving in a new direction with that school. Would that make sense?
It does.
All right. Because I feel like in February, that the opportunities you aren't expecting but are going to be truly welcomed are going to flow in. And what you've gone through right now, the choppiness, was a matter of requirement to get you from there to here, because your father is glowing. All right,
I
that
like
you
all of that.
this is successful. You may not perceive it as a good thing, but this is the transitional period. It's going to work out.
Okay.
All right. So he's quite proud of you, and he says, just steady the ship, just steady the ship.
So
Feeling
interesting.
determination. So I'm going to leave Dad with you with the blessings of spirit.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very nice. And I'm just trying to find the photo here. Now, this is Leslie's. That was a beautiful reading, by the way, Winter.
Thank
I was just trying to find my photo. You know, technology is like my nemesis, but this is Leslie's pup. If you can see that in my ring light, sorry. Beautiful. So Leslie, you can either put in the chat if you don't want to be on, that's fine. But the name of the pup and whether the pup is living or crossed over.
Her name is Marley, and she crossed over.
Okay, Marley. All right, very sweet. Well, it's interesting when I'm connecting to Marley because I'm getting like a couple different things. There's like a almost like a come close, go away feeling with her that I'm getting. So it's like it's almost like she wanted to be really close, but it took her a little while to get there. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Like I don't feel like she would have been very like all over the place. She would have been like, yeah, I like you. I don't know. Like I'm feeling like this, a push pull kind of thing with her.
Absolutely.
But she's super, super sweet, you know, very sweet little dog. But I do feel like she's talking to me about some like eccentricities. That's the word they just gave me. So some like little strange things she would do. Do you understand that?
I'm not sure. You'd have
Okay.
to.
Yeah, no, because
Go
I just heard
further.
the word eccentricities. And so there's something like strange things now. I'm asking her what specifically those would be. So I don't know if it was like, it's funny. I don't know why she's showing me this, but something about how she would like go to the bathroom, whether she would raise her leg in a strange way. She just showed me something about going potty and how it wasn't necessarily like other dogs. Do you understand that?
Maybe at the end, but not for most of her life.
Because she showed me how her leg was up in a different place. So I don't know whether she like injured her leg or there's some piece about the leg that wouldn't have been in like a normal position for going potty. That's what she's showing me. And
At the
so
end.
at the end she was like that. Okay, thank you. Because that she's making sort of making me aware of that, but I don't know why she gave me the word eccentricities. That's really funny to me. So it almost feels like that I wouldn't say that she wasn't like a normal dog, quote unquote, but that she would have done things extra. So whether it would have been like snuggling extra, she's giving me the word extra, 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 like the word I just said, that now I can't say. Eccentricity. So feeling like that she would have snuggled extra, she would have been wanting more attention. So she would have been more of like what the kids would say, that she was extra, wanting more things. Do you understand that?
From me,
Wanting,
yes.
yes, yeah, exactly. So because she's talking to me about her relationship with you. But she's also talking to me about, was there somebody else in the house that didn't necessarily want a pet? Because she's talking to me about that there was like,
Yes.
well, like I don't know if it's like your partner or there's another person living in the house. She's like, not everybody really wanted me around, and not necessarily her, just a pet in general. That a pet would have been like a drag on your lifestyle or some other reason. There was some reason that when you got her, that maybe she wasn't, not her personally, but any pet wasn't wanted. You understand?
When we first got her, yes, my daughter didn't want a dog, so yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's exactly what she's talking to me about. But I do feel like that eventually she won her over, but there was just that feeling of in the house of like, well, I don't know, like I don't know if I want you, like just sort of, so it wasn't like a lot of times when people get a pet, they're like, oh my God, I can't wait. So the feeling she's giving me in the house wasn't initially like that. It was like, yeah, we want you, but I don't know if we want you.
I could take that.
Yeah, it wasn't completely like that. But and she's also talking to me about, there's a piece about when she crossed over, that you knew there was something wrong with her, but it wasn't as expected. Like it's almost like you expected her to cross on this day or this time period, but it happened another time. Do you understand that?
It was a process.
Yeah, well, for sure, because she's showing me almost like a sickness, but that
Right.
it wasn't exactly happening when, either the doctor said, oh yeah, well, I would, I'd give her maybe another 2 weeks or something. And then she lasted longer. Some piece like that. There was some piece about
Yes.
something was put in your mind about it's going to happen X way. And it didn't happen that way. It happened another way. And she just wants you to know that she would have hung around for as long as possible. Like, cause she just wanted to be with you. She's like, mom, I just want to be with you. So she doesn't want you holding on to any guilt about how the passing process happened, because it almost feels to me like there's some type of guilt in how she crossed, or whether I didn't take her to enough doctors or didn't give her the right medicine. I am hearing like something about there's a mix up in the medicine, whether you gave her one and then you found out later she actually needed another, some piece about that as well. But she's coming in with me and saying like, please don't feel bad. I don't want you to hold on to any of that, because it was, clearly it was definitely her time because she had all this stuff going on, but that she doesn't want you to hold on to that you did it the wrong way is what
Okay.
I'm hearing. You understand?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, you're very welcome. I hope that was helpful. And she's
Well-
very, very adorable. She's telling me she's still around and she's still chasing her tail. She's just showing
Okay.
me like spinning around, spinning
Well, thank-
around you. Oh, you're welcome. You're
Thank you
welcome.
so much. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. My pleasure.
Hey,
So,
I have Teresa DeBonis was asking for a message on Facebook. And then I don't know, Mari, I have somebody in the Zoom room who wanted a pet reading if you want to do them after.
sure,
Jennifer?
absolutely. Yeah, I'm just checking
So,
here.
Teresa, I'm assuming you're still watching on the stream through Facebook. So I'm picking up a mother for you or a mother figure. And I want to say that this woman was on the shorter side when she was here. I want to put her about 5'4", very feisty, very set in her ways. You did it her way, or you never heard the end of it. And she was very strict with the children, a good disciplinarian, although, she was loving and kind as well. I don't mean to make her sound unloving, but I need to stress the part of her that stood her ground and set boundaries. And some of these boundaries were established by her household routines, and she didn't like to deviate from the routines because they kind of assisted her in establishing all the boundaries. Okay, yes. So Teresa, you're still with us. So one of the advantages when we read for somebody in the Zoom room is that they're able to give feedback right away, so everybody knows that we're actually connecting with the spirit versus just talking out of our head. But anyway, so she's coming through and she's sharing that aspect of her personality. We all have different aspects that make up the whole, because there's a situation going on with you right now where you have been being tested. And you need to hold your ground and set the boundaries and the rules with, I think it's children, it's a younger generation, through the holidays. Would you understand the message? Okay, Teresa, you said the mother or mother-like figure I was bringing through sounds like your mom. And I've got to tell you that I feel like the grandmother's energy is also with her. They are together in spirit. And she is telling you need to set some boundaries or maintain the boundaries you've set, that they're being pushed. So it's for family harmony. The other thing is mother liked you just as part of her, and she wanted things done the way she wanted them done. She is also expressing a tremendous amount of love for you. She's very proud of how you've been handling things. Sorry, that would be one of my little kitty cats. November was a little bumpy for you. There was some difficulties in the family, and they were challenging for you. And she comes through with pride of how you've handled them. And she says, "Don't you know I was with you every step of the way?" So she sends a lot of love. She's also going to send signs like Mary talked about before, Mari talked about. And so expect those signs to come in the way of lights flickering, and songs popping into your head, and you noticing certain license plates that are going to remind you of your mom, whether it's the date connected to her birthday or her initials. Okay, so I'm going to leave you that message and the love and the blessings from Spirit. Thank you. This is one of my fosters, a very intuitive cat.
Very nice.
She'll be
Very
4 months old,
nice.
and we have a pending application.
Oh, sweetie. I know. I wish I could take them all. You know, every time I see a cat, I'm like, oh, I need another cat. Love them. But thank you. That was beautiful, Winter. And hopefully your person on Facebook heard everything.
Yes, she did, and she said thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. And I have some photos from Jennifer, who I believe is on here. Hi.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Nice to see you guys.
Hi,
Thank
beautiful.
you. Thank you for joining
Love you,
us.
Winter.
Love you too, sweetheart. That's why I'm letting Mari do the reading. She's one of
Thank
my
you so
students.
much.
Oh, very sweet. So yes, I have a couple pictures. I wasn't sure you said something. So there's two different dogs. Maisie is one
With
you're
the sweater that
holding
I'm holding.
with
Yeah.
the sweater. Okay, so who's this one then? Is
The one
that
on the pink couch.
this
Oh,
one?
that's Maisie too. That's
That's
Maisie.
Maisie. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Because one of them you're holding, I can't see their eyes, and that's sort of
Very
how
true.
that's how I do my thing here. So Maisie is this one. Very soon. And they're still living? Do you still have both of them?
Yeah, they're both still.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have a particular question about them, or you just want me to connect?
Yeah, well, the one on the couch, Saint, he's very spoiled and he always seems like melancholy. I don't know what's wrong with him. Like he's just down a lot, but like he's, he's a very odd behaving animal. But Maisie, she really just had a scary episode 2 days ago. She's in heart failure. We adopted her like 2 years ago. She had a heart failure episode in February. She was very sick and we saved her. We put her on lots of medication. And then a couple days ago, she had seizures and now she's just like the best spirit I've ever seen. She's always so happy. Even when she was in the seizure, she's like, her tail's like this, it's like she's,
Yeah.
so yeah, so I guess I was just gonna see like what you were picking up. Saint seems like a little empath. It's very funny. He's always like, if I'm sad, even if I like feel sad for a second, he'll like jump to my chest, like before the tear comes out. It's so funny. So
Yeah.
I just was wondering, I've never had it done on my pet, so I was wondering what you were picking up.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I'm getting a couple of things because Saint is the one it's Maisie and Saint. I know because I
Yeah.
won't remember unless I write it down because I go into my little special place and then I can't remember normal things. So, yeah, because Saint, it's very interesting because you were talking about him. Like that's this little guy for anybody that's watching. So cute. But he's just like he's like in the wrong body. You know what I mean? Like he's just like
Yeah.
a much like different because usually you see the little white floofy dogs and they're more like Maisie just from what the energy I'm picking up. But he's just like I definitely get he's very much an old soul. He's super intuitive. And I know you were
Yeah.
saying that he feels kind of sad. It's interesting because he's telling me like I don't know if you got him from like a breeder or puppy mill type of situation because he keeps talking to me about like missing his brother. So this could either be like a dog brother that he was very close with, or a brother that was like it could be a human brother in the house. Do you understand that? Because he keeps talking to me about
Yeah.
missing his brother.
So I think it's actually my ex, but just so weird because my ex used to call Saint brother like
Yeah,
over
there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
The words they choose are particular. That's why when I was going on about the extraordinary, the word I was saying before, I was like, I know they give me the words, purposefully. So
That's
brother,
funny.
brother, yeah, makes,
Yeah, it's
makes a
literally
lot of
all
sense.
he would call him is like brother. So like
Yeah,
that's so
exactly. So he's talking to me about missing his brother, so missing his,
funny.
your ex, and so I just feel a lot of loss with him. I mean, he's very intuitive and sensitive, just like animals, just like people can be very sensitive, and some are just, not that they're not sensitive, but they're like, yeah, whatever, we're fine, we're going along. But Saint specifically is very sensitive, and he does pick everything up. That's why if you're sad, like he's the sponge. And a lot of
Yeah.
times that's why, our animals are here in the first place to support us in whatever's going on emotionally. So it's like, in a lot of ways, he's like, this is so funny. They just gave me this. He's like your emotional support animal, but he's
100.
actually almost, but he's almost like too sensitive to handle it. Does that make sense? Because there
Yeah,
are
no,
like
true.
emotional support animals and they're like really good at being there for you, but he's like, it's almost like it's not overwhelming for him, but it's like it's just a lot, like he takes
No,
it
we're
all.
a lot. It's two
Yeah,
girls. It's me and my daughter, and she's a Leo, I'm a Cancer. So she's
yeah,
very fiery and like strong-willed,
and you're very
and I'm what
sensitive.
I yeah.
Yeah,
So you could see sometimes where he's just like, come on, he's very funny, but he's so spoiled. But I feel like what is wrong with this guy? He's always like he just looks down in the dumps. It's just funny. Not all the
yeah,
time,
well,
but
yeah, well, I guess what I would suggest is because he's super intuitive, he's super sensitive, so he knows first of all what's going on with Maisie, so he knows that physical piece, and he's also like he's not worried about losing her, but he's worried that if there's not another dog there, then all the pressure is going to be on him. So it's almost like because he feels, and this is again energetically that all the pressure in the house is on him, all the energy, all the feelings, and he's just like he's got a little frame but he's like, oh, I'm trying to hold it all up. And so that's what's like making him feel down, is what he's telling me. So, number one, he's kind of worried about Maisie, and he's worried about also being the only dog in the house. So, there's sort of that piece. There's the piece he's talking about missing his brother, your ex. And so it's almost like I'm feeling like that when your ex was in the house, the energy was kind of different. It feels like it would have been like a little bit lighter, a little bit like more action and movement is what they're talking to me about. And so Saint is talking about kind of missing that. And so getting back to your earlier question about like what's going on with him, what I would recommend is like talking to him. And I'm sure you do talk to him, but say, look, Saint, I totally get what's going on. I know there's a lot of energy and things that are happening, but we're going to make a really concerted effort to try to lift the burden from you and just be straight with him. I know this might sound crazy to some people, but to say to him, look, you don't have to carry everything. I know you want to. It's almost like he's a little water carrier and he's got like 15 little water buckets on his back and it's just too much for him. So you can say, look, you don't have to. You can just be a dog. You can chill out. It's fine. And I would recommend trying to do like some fun things with him, things that he likes, like whether just taking him on a walk separately or buying him a special treat and giving it to him in a place where Maisie isn't there so that he can feel like he doesn't just have to be the burden carrier. Does that make sense?
yeah, definitely
Yeah.
does. Thank you.
So he needs that for sure. Because he wants to make everything better, but it's just like too much is what I'm hearing from him. And then and it's not like you were too much, but there's
No,
just
I
a lot. It's just
what
a
you're
lot
saying
going
is so
on.
it's so
Yeah.
accurate. It's so
Thank
accurate. He's the
you.
best. Yeah, you
Yeah,
are.
he's so and he wants to do better and he wants to help, but sometimes, just like people, some people can handle like a lot of stress and they're like, yeah, whatever, it's good. Some people, one of their eggs break and they have a complete meltdown. So it depends on the person. And for him, little furry person, it's just a lot for him. So just try to alleviate some of that stress. Try to make things a little more fun for him. Maybe take him for a car ride or give him a puppuccino or whatever it is that he likes.
That's
Something that
literally
would,
what I do. I take him.
yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. So do something like that for him and explain to him. Say, hey, you know what? It's okay for you to be happy. You can just be a dog. And they understand it in a different way. They don't understand like we do, but they do understand. And I know we're running out of time. I don't know if there's other people that are waiting, but I just wanted to get to Maisie. She's gone through a lot with her physical things. And I'm sure that you've already tried like a million different things to try to heal her. And again, I'm not a medical intuitive, so I don't, prescribe or diagnose. but I feel like she has a lot of stuff that's going on with her. And if there's any way you could sort of turn down the temperature in the house a little bit, I don't mean physically, I mean like sort of emotionally, like play some classical music or
Yeah.
just try to like chill things out a little bit. Because I think in some ways, when there's a lot of commotion and people are like yelling or situations are happening, I feel like it's a trigger for her. You know, even though she's very so like happy-go-lucky or whatever, I feel like that energy, I almost literally just got like a sharp pain in my heart. I just feel like that triggers her. So
Well, her
try to
heart
just,
is yeah, her heart is really bad. And I think like even when my
yeah,
daughter comes home, her car's very loud. So it's like she'll pull up and then the dogs start freaking out. It's like
yeah.
it's the disruption. But I literally play frequencies in my house every day. So
Oh, that's
that's
awesome.
yeah, for them. Like they have their own bedroom, I play frequencies. But when my
That's
daughter comes
awesome.
home, it's like, like a loud little ruckus, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So
yeah,
it does
exactly.
stress her out, I think. You're right about that.
Yeah, for sure. So just if you can try, even talk to your daughter as she comes in, just say, it's okay. Like even your voice tone, right? As opposed to yelling, you can be like, okay, Maisie, it's fine. Don't worry. You know, and just try
Yeah.
to bring it down because I feel like she definitely has a lot of medical stuff going on and it feels like it's a lot for her. But if you're able to continue whatever treatments you are doing with her and just sort of emotionally bring everything down, I feel like that will help her a lot.
Thank you.
Oh, you
Um,
are welcome. Thank you for
Laura,
sharing them with me. They're
that was
beautiful.
excellent.
Thank
I just
you.
because I know Jennifer, I just want to
Yeah.
add one thing. Are you using your Reiki on the dogs?
Yeah, I've actually been
Okay, good
Reiki.
girl.
I did Reiki on her twice. Well, since this episode, I've been doing it on her twice a day. So in the morning I do a session and then at night I do a session and it does calm her down because she will be in a full panic attack and then I'll do like a healing session on her and then she's right back to like baseline. She's calm. So it's definitely helping, but this last episode with her was just very
Mm,
bad. Like we didn't think she was going to make it through the night 2 nights ago.
yeah.
Yeah, so
I'm sorry, it's so rough. I'm walking that path. Um,
Yeah.
and the only thing I would also mention is when your daughter's coming home, just put the dog, visualize a pink bubble of light around her.
Mm, yeah,
That might help
absolutely.
her emotional reaction to, the excitement of
annoying.
her coming home, because I'm sure she hears the car, but also just kind of keep her more chill. So,
Thank you, guys.
Ari, my
You're
darling, thanks, Jen,
welcome.
for
Yes.
tuning in. It's good to see you.
Thank
Did
you
you
guys too.
wanna, oh, sorry.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Thank you.
Did you want to let them know any of your upcoming events?
Yes, absolutely. I know I got another picture from Terry. I don't know if you had other people that wanted readings. I could do a short one if we have a minute. I don't remember the name of this kitty, Terry, but isn't this one that I've read before?
No. Cat's name is Peanut.
Peanut, yeah, and I've read Peanut before, right?
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't know. It
Maybe
looks,
it did a while ago. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, it looks familiar. And is Peanut still here or is Peanut crossed? I'll just do a quick
Peanut's
one.
still here.
Peanut's still here. Yeah, it's interesting because like as soon as I got this photo, look at Peanut. Aw. Peanut's just like, yeah, whatever. Peanut, like, I don't want to say has an attitude, but he's got a little bit of an attitude. He's
Oh
funny.
yeah.
He's just like, he's like, things have to be the way that I want them to be, and that's all. So,
Oh yeah.
Peanut is very funny like that. But, he's got a really good heart. Like, he really wants to do things to make you happy, but sometimes he's just saying, I can't be bothered. I know that sounds terrible, but that's what he's telling me. He's like, I'm sorry. I know you want me to do it that way. Or I know you want me to stay off the counters, but I'm sorry. Just not going to do it. So there's that whole vibe with him, but he's a very good companion. I know that, that he loves you and loves being in your family and being a part of it, but he's just saying, as long as I'm the boss, that's what that said.
Oh,
As long as
yeah.
I can be the boss, then everything's fine. And he already knows that he is the boss, but he just wants you to remind you that he's the boss. But he's got such a beautiful spirit and energy. But he's telling me, I don't know if there's something that happened recently that upset him because he's saying, yeah, I was really mad about. He's giving me like last Tuesday. I don't know what happened last Tuesday. Somebody came in the house like a workman or something
Yeah.
and like disturbed some of his stuff because he was saying like last Tuesday I was really annoyed. Like it looks like some of his stuff got knocked around, and he was like, no. I don't like that. That has to change. So he definitely has his own opinions on things, doesn't he? So
Yes, he does.
but he's a really funny, quirky guy, and he's telling me, he's like, but I will protect you and I will always be by your side, is an important message that you get, because he knows that there's been some challenges lately, but he wants you to know that he is always going to be by your side and watching over you, even if he's a little snarky at times.
He is always by my side, always.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing him. I wanted to squeeze him in there because I saw him. I was like, I can't leave Peanut out.
Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome. And yes, Winter was asking me about events that I'm doing. It's just, as everyone knows, the holidays are always a little bit busy with family and things. And I have kids, and I always say I'm mom first, medium second, which I'm sure I know Winter is too. But I do have a couple things that are coming up. December 10th, I'm going to be on the Spiritual Interactive Panel, which is hosted through New Hampshire Metaphysical. It is all about angels. They're calling it, the truth about angels and how you can connect with your angels. That is December 10th at 4 p.m. And anything I tell you is all on my website, mediummari.com. You can find all my events there, and you can just click through. That's a Zoom link. And I wanted to mention, I'm very excited, I know Winter is too, on December 15th, that's our next Spirit Chat. We are so blessed and lucky to have the amazing Kimberly Meredith. Now, if you don't know who she is, run and look her up, because she is super, super famous. She is a celebrity intuitive medium and medical healer. And she just has a new book out called Awakening in the Fifth Dimension. I have seen her do some healing myself. She is amazing. She's just been in a couple like Vogue and big magazines. So I feel very grateful that she's coming on our little show, and I know she's going to do some readings. So definitely tune in December 15th for our next Spirit Chat for Kimberly Meredith. And the next thing I'm doing, I think I'm going to be on the Beacon of Light radio show with Bob Brown, and I believe that's the beginning of January, but check my website for all that info. And Winter, I know you always have like 10,000 things going on.
So yeah, I have a few things coming up. I'm doing the show with you. I'm looking forward to meeting her as well. And then in January, I am scheduled to do a couple of one-shot teaching classes. I'm doing a couple for Lilydale. It's online.
Nice.
I'm doing Fly Me to the Moon, which is about teaching guys how to do remote viewing and astral projection. And we'll be talking about it and then doing some exercises. And then in April for them, I'm doing Let's Get Physical, which is an introduction to physical mediumship and how to do it. I'm also going to be doing something similar for Camp Chesterfield in Indiana. We'll be doing it online Zoom. So these are inexpensive one-shot classes. I'm still finishing up my trance class with the Spirit School in Vancouver, and that's been quite wonderful experience. And I hope to be teaching some more classes there. And again, you can join them. It's an online school. It also has a physical school if you want to go to Vancouver, which is actually a beautiful place. I went there in college. And then I'm going to be one of the tutors. It's kind of a nice kind of thing that happened at the International Physical Mediumship Conference with 4 very worldly and world-renowned demonstrators and teachers. Kai Mugi, and this is all in physical mediumship. And I think, Mari, you're coming, right? So we'll be.
I am. I'm excited.
So it sold out in like a week, 100 tickets. But yeah, so Gary Mannion, Kai Mugi, Bill Bolt, and Vinnie Nar. And then I'm one of the supporting tutors, so I'll be lecturing and teaching there in April at the Desmond Hotel in Albany. And I'm putting together some things for local. I, didn't move as quickly as I normally do because I am being kind to myself. And I'm also looking at puppies because I don't like not having a big dog. I gotta be honest. I hear about break-ins, and I love my little kitty cats and being a foster mom, but there's something about having a large dog.
Yeah, for sure.
We have pending applications on 2 of the 3 kittens. So I'm very happy that they'll be finding forever homes. I wish everybody, oh, we have to do our card before.
I know, I was waiting.
Sorry.
It's okay, no worries. I know she has so many activities. I didn't go all the way into next year because I can't even think about that right now. But yeah, absolutely always stuff going on. You can check Winter's website, my website, and see all the events that we both have planned. But I did pull this card, which I thought was actually perfect, if anyone can see. Rejoice in celebration. And this is the John Holland Psychic Tarot deck. And I have been using, I literally only use like 2 decks for the past like 15 years. I don't know. I have a lot more, but I just always use these. So rejoice in celebration. That's exactly what we were talking about today. We were talking about gratitude and how to find our way through grief by finding the good things. And this is the time of year where there is a lot of celebrating going on and finding a way. And then this card is for the collective. So if it relates to you, great, take it. If it doesn't, but this feels very much to me like an important time to mention all the things we were talking about finding ways to be grateful, finding ways to connect with our loved ones and pets and spirit and rejoice in that, and spending that time taking care of yourself, whether it is saying no to the 15th office party you got invited to this year or whatever it is, so that you can have that self-care. Rejoice in celebration. That could be, alone in your jammies watching your favorite show, or it could be out with a bunch of people, whatever feels right to you. And this is what fills your soul. And doing this, just rejoicing and having joy. The word joy is in rejoice. Finding joy is what going to fill you up and make you feel better and enable you the energy to get through the difficult things that we all experience in this life. So I hope that is helpful to you. I know we've gone a little bit over, but just wanted to say thank you to everybody for tuning in. Thank you for our Zoom and for our Facebook and YouTube and everybody that's watching. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to reach out to us. But wishing you a blessed day, a blessed holidays. But we are going to see you December 15th with the amazing Kimberly Meredith. Do not forget to tune in for that. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to my beautiful co-host Winterbrook, and we will
my
see
God,
you soon.
I'm so sorry.
What'd you forget?
December 9th, Saturday, December 9th, I'm going to interview my friend Joanne Wolf, who's going to give us the astrological insights for 2024. So Joanne is certified. She actually had to sit for 2 days of testing with the organization that certifies astrologers. And she's a lovely woman, and we do this every year. And I completely forgot to put that December. I'm not, I got little kittens running around my head.
It's all right. That's what I said. Everyone can check the websites. We don't, it's hard for us to remember to share every single event. So in case you want to check what's going on with myself or with Winter, check our websites and you'll have all the details there. But thank you so much for joining us. And it's been a pleasure to have everybody here for Spirit Chat. And we will see you next month.
Okay. Love you all.
Bye-bye. Thanks for
Bye-bye.
joining.